Grand rising, grand evening, whatever time it is for you. So I have some notes and some information that I want to share with you all, and I think that you might find some of this information useful in reference to the current transits that are occurring, the Barbalt basket configuration. So essentially, how what is happening right now in the cosmos is directly connected to what is happening in the collective at both a macro and a micro level. Now, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune are what make up this Barbalt basket configuration. The universe is setting up a massive systemic compression. This compression is occurring so that something new can be birthed from that density and that compression. Another way you can think of this energy is a fire, a purifying fire. In fact, I on June 14th during the new moon, while I was engaging in a communion with my guides and having a spiritual bath, I received a vision and a download in reference to navigating Gaia's Seven-Chakra purification. I myself did not know what Gaia's Seven-Chakra purification was until I had this download and this vision. So I will go ahead and share that vision with you in just a moment. But what I want to touch on is that the water is getting warmer and this fire is burning brighter because humanity is collectively being forced to shed an old, tight, corrupt, systemic shell. The heat is not here to destroy us, but rather force the blooming process of the new. And this old, tight, corrupt systemic shell might be something that is being mirrored in your interpersonal life, things that you yourself are shedding, releasing, and surrendering, so that what you are meant to bloom into, or what is meant to grow and bloom in your life, has the room and the space in the soil to finish out that birthing process and come into fruition. So I want to share this vision that I received on June 14th during the new moon. And this is about Gaia's Seven-Chakra purification. So in this vision, the vision first began in the neighborhood where I had my most cataclysmic and intense karmic reckoning. It began with a bright red, passionate fire. And it started in the home that I stayed at in this neighborhood. So I first watched as this home engulfed in this red flame. The flames then, it spread to different houses in that neighborhood that housed people who were part of that karmic cycle and that karmic reckoning. And then it spread to the entire town, the entire city. And then I watched as this bright red fire spread on the entire state. And at this point, I had spiraled out. So I was watching from a vantage point of being above and watching what was happening below. This fire then spread to multiple different states. It spread to the state where I grew up, and a lot of childhood traumas and experiences occurred. It spread to multiple different states and places, and then I was in space and I was watching from an even higher vantage point, and I was floating in the cosmos watching Earth, and then Earth itself engulfed in this fiery red flame. And so as I was suspended there up in the cosmos, observing this red fire engulf Earth, it then changed colors. It changed to orange, a like orange citrusy, livening orange color. And then that orange transcended to a yellow, a golden yellow color. And then that yellow transcended into a green, and then a blue, and then a violet. And I want to say that the violet flame was the most magnificent because it wasn't just violet, it had like a lot of like gold specks and whites, but it was a deep violet at its core. And that is where that vision ended. Now, the way that I interpreted that dream is obviously metaphorical, but I believe what I was seeing is a 7-chakra purification of our planet. And that fire symbolized that purification process. And so I watched as each color matching each chakra center blazed and purified our earth. So the external chaos we see playing out in the macro society are the fires of systemic exposure, financial shifts, and institutional collapse. This fire is a divine purification process waking through the energy centers of Earth and Gaia. I meant to say working through, but I do feel like waking through is also that resonates with this message. This is a time where walking by faith and not by sight is rooted in the innate knowing that the fire is not burning us down in order to destroy us. It is instead burning away collective, self-limiting shadows and the dark triad systems that fed on those shadows. And so I view this as a collective system reprogramming of sorts, where the very things that we house individually and as a collective that fed on these self-limiting shadows and dark triad systems are being integrated, and so the expression is no longer going to be suitable to feed that dark triad system. And so that is what is connected to that system collapse. It is a purification process that is very necessary in order for us to evolve as a humanity. So I want you to, if you feel guided to, I have an exercise for you. If you can, and if you feel guided to, I want you to identify the core childhood or systemic wound where your personal matrix began. I want you to think of a time, a space, or times and spaces and places and experiences in your life where there was a major cataclysmic karmic reckoning that transpired in your experience. And that previous vision I shared with you of watching this 7-chakra fire purification process, feel free to utilize that visualization to purify those spaces and those places where those childhood and systemic wounds and cataclysmic karmic reckoning experiences transpired, so that you can purify them through visualization. Shadow integration is requiring you to look at the space, the place, the person, or the experience and love it into sovereignty. So you can think of this fire as a sovereign purification process. It is how you reclaim the pieces of you, the fractals of you that may still be caught in that past experience, that past cycle, that past space and place where you had that experience, where the shattering occurred. So this is a way that you can both purify, utilizing love, but also integrate what was left or lost or siphoned in that space and in that place and in that time, so that you are operating from a whole, full space and place and vessel. So yeah, love it into sovereignty. Use the potency of your heart posture to purify it with your inner fire and burn it into a state of peace and stillness. It is an important time to stray away from treating the political and institutional distortions as law, in a sense. Let me rephrase that. This is an important time to stray away from observing the political and institutional distortions with the physical eyes, and instead a time to drop into a space of heart and mind cohesion that keeps you anchored and grounded while the matrix around you and within you adjusts to this new frequency and this purification process. I know I talk a lot about walking by faith and not by sight, and that is definitely something that is going to be a worthwhile tool, as well as your discernment at this time. Remember, where attention goes, energy does flow, and so I think that it's really important for us to stray away from feeding into these political and institutional distortions that are being displayed to you, that are being projected to you from the world stage, that are these political shows, there's another word, these performances, right? I think this is a time to view these performances that are being done in order to affect your sight, affect your mind, and affect your perception, which will in turn affect your heart posture and your heart space, your discernment, and your intuition, by dropping into your heart space and ensuring that your heart and mind are cohesive, that you're operating from a space of heart and mind cohesion. That way you can maintain an anchored and grounded and tempered energy as these much needed adjustments occur throughout this 7-chakra earthly purification process that is currently transpiring. Anyways, that is all that I had to share with you all today. I'm sending you guys so much love to the universe and beyond. Bye.